Tonight, detained for 6 days over a tweet, a Labrador man is told he should have brought his complaint forward faster.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Peter Cowan. We're a slightly shorter and later show this week. It's all part of CBC's continuing coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. We'll get to some Olympic news shortly, but first, a man forcibly hospitalized by RNC officers for social media posts has had one of his complaints dismissed. An adjudicator has ruled that Andrew Abbas waited too long to complain about it. Here Now's Mark Quinn has our top story.
Two complaints filed by Andrew Abbas were expected to be heard at an upcoming Complaints Commission hearing, but one of them, a complaint that he was unlawfully detained by then RNC Staff Sergeant Tim Buckle, was dismissed last week. The second complaint, that Buckle conducted himself in a manner unbecoming a police officer, will still be heard. Buckle applied to have both complaints dismissed. An adjudicator gave him a partial victory. He agreed with Buckle that because the unlawful detainment complaint was made 2 years after the detention, it fell outside the 6-month statute of limitations period, and therefore the Commission can't hear it. Abbas wants to appeal that decision. All of this started in April 2015 after Abbas tweeted about the police shooting death of Donald Dumphy. Dumphy had posted tweets criticizing politicians, tweets police believe were threatening. Abbas posted tweets critical of that, and police had Abbas detained in hospital against his will. Abbas was kept in hospital for 6 days. He was not certified as suffering from any psychiatric condition and was not charged with a crime. 2 years later, he filed the complaint, which was dismissed last week. And now, almost a decade later, he says it's still important to understand why he was detained.
I don't want it to happen to anybody else. So if I were to accept a settlement and just to walk away from it, like nothing would change. I can't put it down without saying that that's something that I have to live with and that other people have to live with.
At the Dumphy inquiry, texts between Buckle and RNC Constable Joe Smythe were entered as evidence. Buckle wrote that Abbas had been arrested under the Mental Health Care and Treatment Act. Smythe responded, "Loser." Buckle wrote back, "Yup." Those words led to a second complaint that Buckle, who is now retired, conducted himself in a manner unbecoming a police officer. The adjudicator's decision means that second complaint is expected to go to a hearing. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
A frequent ferry traveler is upset after Marine Atlantic canceled her crossing, leaving her family stranded for 5 days. Janine Johnston was traveling to Port aux Basques Thursday night and learned in the lineup that her trip had been canceled. Johnston says Marine Atlantic staff were rude and even called the police on passengers.
They said, "You all have to get out of the parking lot." And I was like, "How? Where's everybody going to go? This is 10:30 at night now." And they were like, "I don't know. You can't stay here." And then out of nowhere, in comes 8 police officers. So I said, "Why are there 8 police officers here?" "Well, people are refusing to leave the parking lot, so we need to bring in enforcements to take people out of the parking lot." Questions were being asked about, well, why wouldn't we just bump the next passengers a couple of hours and we take this sailing and they, come a few hours after we do? Absolutely not. That's not how the process works. I asked the question about fast turnaround and she said, "Oh, we can't do that." And I was like, "Well, why can't you do that? You did that last weekend when the Highlander broke down." And she was like, No. She said it takes like 5 or 6 crossings to make up for one crossing. And I was like, I don't think so. I said, I travel this ferry enough to know that going on a fast turnaround will definitely clean this parking lot up a lot quicker. And absolutely just shutting everybody down. Like, they were very rude, very disrespectful. I had spent 2 nights in a hotel. I spent $350 the first night because there were no hotels available. I got one that was very high end, but that's all we could get. So there were 4 of us traveling plus 2 dogs. So it was not like we could just sit in a Walmart parking lot and try to sleep. And then the second night we spent in another hotel because we were told by reservation clerks, well, we're hoping to get you on today, we're hoping to get you on tomorrow, or the next day at the latest. And then 12 hours later, I get an email saying that we're rescheduled for August the 6th, which is 5 days after I was originally supposed to be there. Now, in the meantime, I also have a friend that crossed the night before with no reservations and was able to get on.
Now, Marine Atlantic declined CBC's request for an interview, but it did send a statement. It says the late cancellation was caused by mechanical issues. As for those complaints about staff, it says, we're not aware of staff being rude or unprofessional following this incident. Some indicated that a number of passengers were not satisfied with the cancellation, were verbally abusive, and refused to leave the terminal. Marine Atlantic says some people were able to be rebooked quickly, while others were delayed for days due to high summer traffic and certain vehicles requiring more space. It says those who are rebooked are entitled to compensation, $200 for adults, $100 per child, and customers who wish to cancel will receive a full refund. Well, to the West Coast now, where part of Gros National Park is getting a major makeover. Tens of thousands of tourists stop by the visitor center each year. Here Now's Colleen Connors has more on its recent $12 million reno.
This is why people visit Gros National Park, the $1 million views. But before you can take those in, you have to stop here at the visitor center. You'll find maps, advice on the best hiking trails, and this pit stop just got a big boost, a $12 million remodel.
The old visitor center was more than 40 years old, and if you think of all that's happened in the national park and in the region over 40 years, we have a lot more visitors coming. And the old space just wasn't meeting that need anymore. The washrooms were inadequate, the space and parking, it just really didn't meet the capacity needs or the modern amenities. So now we have modern washrooms, universal design, we have more of them, we have greater parking capacity for those buses.
And this standout design, steep angles inspired by the landscape of the park, with a view of Gros Morne Mountain through the windows.
As a retired architect, I'm totally impressed. It's a fantastic architecture.
On an overcast day, this place is packed with visitors, looking to take it all in. And not only the outdoors. This modern gathering space houses temporary posters now, but soon will showcase exhibits from nearby communities and Indigenous groups in the park.
Gros Morne is the national park and the communities. When people experience Gros Morne, it's the region. And they work so well together, they're so intertwined, there's so much part of that experience of this place. Right from north to south in the park, we have communities, and they each have their own experiences that really complement what goes on in the national park itself.
Stone says the exhibits will be on full display next summer. There's also a large reception space, a new kitchen and office area that will be available for local communities in the off-season. A space to gather and celebrate all the park has to offer.
While the renovations are complete and the building is of course open to the public, some last-minute colorful signage is still to come. Posters that show you how to do that famous boat tour or how to safely climb Gros Morne National Park will be on display outside here in just the coming weeks. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Gros Morne.
Well, shifting to some sports news now, there are more than 330 Canadian athletes competing in Paris 2024, but not a single one of them is from Newfoundland and Labrador. In fact, we're the only province without an athlete. The province hasn't sent a competitor to the Summer Olympic Games in nearly a quarter century. I wanted to find out why.
Who might want to go to the Olympics someday?
Me! I think we all do.
There's plenty of enthusiasm at this 6 a.m. artistic swimming practice in St. John's, but Catherine Barrett knows it'll take a lot of sacrifice for any of these girls to make it to the national stage. She won a medal in this sport at the Pan American Games, but that meant moving to Toronto at age 14 to train.
I wouldn't blame anyone for not wanting to leave their family as a child by any means. So that is really prohibitive, and that's not an option for some athletes to just get themselves out there and get themselves into that bigger competition pool.
That's just one of the barriers athletes in this province face. The last time Newfoundland and Labrador had an athlete at the Summer Games was the 2000 Games in Sydney. Yes, the population is a factor, but PEI has 1/3 the people and 2 athletes at these games. Another problem, there isn't as much summer as the rest of the country.
A lot of kids in other places will be outside swimming for 4 or 5 months of the year. We don't do that a whole lot here. We see kids who can go outside and play basketball on a normal day without wind blowing the ball around. Same with beach volleyball. So we have a challenge with the weather.
The other challenge is keeping coaches. Jeremy Ivey grew up rowing at the Royal St. John's Regatta, but went to the U.S., where he ended up coaching the sport. He's in Paris, coaching the women's team, a job that requires him to live on Vancouver Island.
There is a lot of talented Newfoundlanders, and then they end up to get to the next level leaving the province, and we end up unfortunately losing coaches and things like that.
There are hopes that it could turn around for the next Olympics. Next year, St. John's will host the Canada Games. Millions of dollars are going into new facilities to train, and it brings new excitement for young athletes.
Could it end our Summer Olympic drought?
I would say it certainly puts us in the right direction to go breaking that drought, that's for sure.
Now, there is one athlete to keep an eye out with a connection to this province. Sydney Carroll is on the artistic swimming team. She was born in St. John's but moved away at a young age. So even though she identifies Saskatchewan as her home province, she'll still have some folks here cheering her on. Well, Bells with Balls held its 5th annual Ride for Her fundraiser over the weekend. The charity drive is part of the group's effort to bring more awareness of ovarian cancer.
To date, we have raised over $560,000.
I myself was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2010, and I've had 5 recurrences, which I'm still going through one right now, currently.
My mom passed away from ovarian cancer in 2001 at the age of 64, and she was vibrant, working daily, and she did not find out about her cancer until she went in for a routine hysterectomy. She survived for 12 weeks after and then succumbed to ovarian cancer.
Well, I am actually an ovarian cancer survivor. I am 3 years out now, cancer free is what my oncologist says to me. I'm very blessed because I'm stage 2, and I was actually found by accident because it's genetic in the family. This is so important for the simple fact that the monies that the Bells from Balls actually get goes all to Newfoundland research. Every penny of it. Nothing goes out of province. It's all for Newfoundland and Labrador, and it goes for educational events and also towards all kinds of research. And the biggest research we really need is a screening tool for ovarian cancer, and there is none.
We have done some wonderful things, and I'm not saying it to blow our own horn, but for 8 little women, we're pretty mighty between, donating a high-tech pump to the Cancer Clinic Health Science Center for abdominal cancers, to setting up dry labs to help med school students with learning proper laparoscopic things, to funding research.
Here at Gateway, everyone is welcome, whether you call Lab West home or a visitor travelling through. We hope everyone has an awesome week, and let's raise the flag.
Well, this was the scene at the Gateway Labrador Museum earlier today. Western Labrador is kicking off Pride Week. There were a number of flag raisings happening around town this morning, including at the Health Centre, the town of Wabush, and the mine site.
Temperatures a lot cooler in Lab West today. The trend will continue, but we've also got some humidity relief through this week for parts of the province. I'll get into all the details coming up.
So the old saying goes, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. And certainly we felt that over the weekend. I guess a little bit of rain, and it started feeling downright tropical.
It certainly did. Today, no different. Still dealing with that humidity out there. Temperatures as well. Let's take a look at what's going on this afternoon. Temperatures are sitting well into the 20s. In fact, close to 30 degrees in some cases. Deer Lake at 29. We've got some of that heat as well up across parts of Labrador. 21 degrees in Mary's Harbour and 25 in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Not the case, though, in Lab City, sitting around 14 degrees this afternoon. But that humidity, making it feel like anywhere the upper 20s, even low 30s through parts of Central today. And the good news is, if you're looking for some relief from that humidity, we are eventually going to see that. It looks like by Tuesday night, we'll start to see some relief across the island for a few days, really. It'll be the weekend before we start to feel some of that muggy weather return as well. The reason for that is a cold front is going to move through. Out ahead of that, seeing some thunderstorms earlier this evening. And that risk will end over the next couple of hours, certainly as we get past 10 or 11 o'clock tonight. As that cold front moves through, though, we are certainly going to see some relief from that humidity. And then the other thing that watching is the tropical storm. Tropical storm Debbie is down around Florida at the moment. That's going to linger for a little bit. Currently sitting at winds topping out at about 140 kilometers per hour. Like I said, through this weekend and into through this week rather and into the weekend, that tropical system is going to stick around. Now we're going to watch the remnants, because by the time we get into early next week, we could see some of the remnants, at least some tropical moisture potentially for the Atlantic provinces. So definitely going to keep an eye on that one over the next couple of days. Now, as far as what's going to happen tonight, that risk of thunderstorms, like I said, should end. We should see a generally quiet night tonight for most of us, with the exception of some showers possible for southeastern portions of Labrador. Really showers possible for all of Labrador tonight. And then we'll start to see the potential for some rain again tomorrow morning developing for southwestern portions of the island. Overall, temperatures tonight will sit between 14 to 18 degrees. For the most part, up across Labrador, a little cooler, especially for the west, around 7 degrees, otherwise around 10 to 13 tonight. And then into tomorrow, that rain that I was talking about that will start in the morning will head towards central Newfoundland as we get into tomorrow afternoon. Some showers and potentially some thunderstorms for southeastern portions of Labrador. You may hear a few rumbles of thunder, and we'll see those showers make their way towards the Avalon late afternoon or early evening. In behind this front, though, that cooler weather will move in. We're also going to see the clearing skies through the afternoon, and then through the overnight, more showers potential as we get into Wednesday morning. Early look at the regatta forecast, looking not too bad. Cloudy skies for the most part. Got to keep an eye on those winds, though. Certainly have a better forecast for you tomorrow. As the temperatures go, generally looking in the upper teens, low 20s across most of the island. Westerly winds anywhere from 40 to 50 kilometers per hour tomorrow. For Labrador, we are looking at the cooler weather again. For the west, you're looking at just barely into the teens, otherwise 19 to 21 degrees for the rest of Labrador. The long-range forecast looking pretty decent. Temperatures cooler and less humidity, with some periods of sun and cloud really right through the weekend. It looks like that. As far as central and western Newfoundland go, better chance of some showers by the time we get into the Friday time frame. And then for Labrador, you are looking at your chances of showers really right through Friday. Temperatures in the upper teens and low 20s right across the board. Your weather forecast, or your weather picture of the day, is a beautiful sunrise overlooking Conception Bay there. Thank you to Dean for that shot. This one taken from Lance Cove. And if you have any photos you'd like to share with us, send them to nophotos@cbc.ca.
It wasn't an accident. I think there's been a murder.
Your calling. Some people find theirs at an early age, others later in life. No matter when you find it, consider yourself lucky, because it becomes your everything. Our calling was to build trucks, and that's why trucks are what we do. We put our everything in every truck so that when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
Smiling first can help someone find the courage to do the same.
Clogged gutters can cause big problems fast. Until now. Call 833 Leaf Filter today for your free gutter inspection.
I've had terrible flooding problems on my porch. Now I understand why.
Right now, Leaf Filter is offering a free inspection on your schedule. Leaf Filter is a permanent gutter solution, so you never have to worry about costly damage from clogged gutters again.
Call us today and schedule your free inspection.
To schedule your free inspection, call 833 Leaf Filter today or visit leaffilter.ca.
Hello, how can I... Sore throat pain? Try Vicks VapoCool Drops. It's maximum strength relief with a powerful rush of Vicks Vapors. And... Honey lemon. Woo! Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool Drops.
Well, this looks cozy. The attic must be well insulated. Well, that window could use some draft proofing, though. Nice touch on the open curtains. Let the sun warm the room. Cute bathtub, but short showers will save you money. Just saying. Come on, that light bulb is not LED. So much for modern art. Am I right?
Energy efficiency is always on our minds at Take Charge, with rebates on energy-efficient products and tips to help you save.
You know us. We're a part of the community. We've been standing for you for years. We stand for knowledge, integrity, experience, and justice. We are committed to work for you. If you've ever been injured in an accident, if you would like to speak to a lawyer who will listen and who will help, call Rogers Moyes. We stand for you.
The Easter Seals Luxury Cabin Lottery is back. This year's luxury cabin is valued at over $600,000. The bonus prize deadline is midnight, August 8th, for your chance to win an ATV from Can-Am, or a boat and trailer package from Blue Water Marine, or one of 30 $200 gift cards from North Atlantic. Lottery proceeds support Easter Seals' many life-changing programs and services for people with disabilities. Tickets are only $30. We sold out the last 4 years in a row, so get your tickets today at cabinlottery.ca.
This is gonna make one incredible hotel.
Get out, get out, get out.
Ghosts. Available now on CBC Gem.
So I know it's pretty quiet now, but every year for the past 206 years, the Royal St. John's Regatta brings this place to life. But it's kind of hard to imagine what it looked like so many years ago. So recently I met with Gerard Nash, who knows exactly how to bring us back in time.
Oh, I'm born and raised in St. John's. I went to the regatta since my dad carried me down and carried me back, I guess, you know. So I've always been a big fan of the regatta. And I also have a big love of the history of that area. I started this about 25 years ago, I guess. I was working on our family tree at the time. And I was trying to collect a lot of old photos, and family members were giving me photos as well. And unfortunately, they had a lot of damage, a lot of cracks, tears, pieces missing, etc. I said, you know, I need to get some of those fixed.
But the past doesn't paint itself, right? There's so much work that goes into this. I mean, how does he know what colors to choose?
For this particular photo, last one I did of the regatta, I was looking for rowing uniforms from the late 1800s. I'll try to find some clothing from the period. Based on the picture itself, you know, the shades of grey, how dark it is, how light it is, you can also get an idea, well, you know, if it's dark like that, it could have been navy blue, could have been dark brown, wouldn't have been green, you know, that sort of thing. The uniforms, I guess, that they wore, you know, caps and pants. I mean, it was a full regalia, I guess they would wear then. They just, you know, not just a t-shirt and a pair of shorts or something like that.
There's always that timeless charm of the black and white photo, but nothing connects us to our past more like a little splash of color.
Well, from the pond to Paris, day 10 of the Olympic Summer Games brought mixed results for Team Canada. But it was a good day on the track for a Canadian favourite. Canadian sprinter Andre de Grasse has qualified for the semi-final in his signature event, the 200-meter, finishing second with a time of 20.30 in his qualifying heat. On the women's side, a disappointing day for Canada's 200-meter hopefuls, but Canada's women's beach volleyball pair picked up a critical win today. There you can see Melissa Humana Paradis and Brandy Wilkerson are on to the quarterfinals with a 2-0 upset over the Americans. Canadian women's 3-on-3 basketball team lost both of their games today. And in the semifinal, Germany edged out Canada 16-15. In bronze medal game, the U.S. defeated Canada 16-13. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in Hinton, Alberta today for a status briefing on the Jasper wildfire. Trudeau visited the command centre where he met with Premier Danielle Smith and fire officials. A moment of silence was observed for a Calgary firefighter before the briefing. The 24-year-old died after being injured by a falling tree on Saturday. Trudeau also met with some of the evacuees who've had to flee the wildfire nearly 2 weeks ago. Bus tours of the town began today for many of the 20,000 residents who had to leave. Well, and thanks for spending part of your evening with us. I'll be here for the remainder of the week. Just a reminder, it is a slightly shorter newscast happening at a later time. But if you want to watch the newscast at any time, you can check out our YouTube channel. Just look for CBCNL and catch up on Here and Now whenever you want. That's it for us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with all the latest local news. And of course, Ashley will have your full weather forecast. Have a great night, everyone.